Emily and Milo, and today I'm here to bring you a brief discussion of a book I recently read, which is The Public Library, a Photographic Essay by Robert Dawson. And then I also wanted to use this book as a jumping off point to sort of discuss some of my own thoughts about public libraries. So let's just get right into it. So this is a collection of Robert Dawson's photographs. He went around the United States and took pictures of various libraries, big city libraries, rural libraries, brand new libraries, old libraries, libraries that have closed down, bookmobiles, libraries that are in really small communities, like all kinds of anything you might think of as a library. He took a picture of it and put it in this book. And then there's also some previously published writings about the power of public libraries in here by like Barbara Kingsolver and Amy Tan and E.B. White. And there's some pictures of like letters that Dr. Seuss sent to school children after a librarian wrote them and wrote to him. And so there's like all kinds of library miscellanea in here. And there's also an introduction by Bill Moyers and a afterward by Ann Patchett that are brand new and new to the book. So let me show you some of the pictures. It's just very beautiful, high quality photographs, some color, some black and white. Big libraries, small libraries, just all sorts of beautiful design elements. And I read this for the nonfiction November Prompt for design because, hello, it fits it perfectly. And this was published by Princeton Architectural Press, so you know it's high quality. So I wanted to talk about this book and how it relates to my own thoughts about libraries, because in this book a lot of the written material, the essays and the introduction and things like that, talk a lot about the power of libraries and also the power of librarians. And as some of y'all might remember, I am a librarian. I work in a public library in a suburb of Dallas, so my town is quite a big city, and we deal with a lot of the problems that big city libraries do, homeless population, trying to help our population get better education, having enough money for different programs, meeting the needs of our community through different programming, meeting the needs to make sure that we have enough technology for them. So we deal with a lot of stuff. And I have been thinking a lot lately about what makes libraries and librarians successful. I am a new librarian. I just got my library degree in December 2017, and then I got the job where I currently work in March 2018, and this is my first full-time library job. Prior to this, I worked part-time as a librarian when needed, but I mostly worked in the circulation department. So I am just, I'm just brand new to being a librarian. And so I feel like a lot of times when it's a complicated question, a research question that needs a lot more work, I am not as good yet at finding the answer for people or knowing what we have in the collection, because I'm still learning it, because I think a lot of the success of being a good librarian comes from, staying in a place for a long time and knowing that library's collection, which I don't think I'm at the point of yet, which is fine. It's, I've only been there a year and a half. I don't think it's going to take a while for me to know everything in the collection, but I just feel like the librarians, I guess I feel like in this book there's a lot of like rhetoric that implies that librarians are like saving democracy, or they can find you anything you need exactly when you need it. And I just feel like it's a lot of pressure for librarians, especially for someone who's new like myself. And I feel like I'm obligated to meet a certain standard, which I try my darndest to meet, but it's stressful when you think about people coming into the library with this kind of mindset, and you're like, oh, I have to try to meet that demand. And I think also part of my issue is that people are so used to like going to Google and having to search in like 2 seconds. And so then when they get to you, they expect you to help them, instantaneously. And it might take you, it might not be instantaneous if it's something. And I'm not talking about like basic stuff. I'm not talking about like looking up a title and seeing if we have it, or looking, helping them find something on the shelf, or, telling them how a computer issue works. Although, big computer issues is still the same thing. They expect you to know every kind of computer and every type of cell phone and every type of device. And if you've never personally worked with it, you have to do research, which I don't mind doing. I love researching. That's why I got into librarianship. But I just feel like there's sort of this unrealistic expectation for librarians, especially new librarians, to be able to automatically assist you instantaneously without any, much effort. And I don't think that's helpful to librarians, and I think it might contribute to the diminishing of public librarians public libraries, because as y'all probably know, libraries are losing funding and people are losing their jobs. And I feel very blessed because in my community we just had a bond and we just got more money, and we're going to have a new branch soon. And I don't feel like I'm in danger of losing my job, although you certainly, you never know. There could be a big budget cut, or you never know what could happen. I mean, any job is not secure, frankly, in this economy, but it just feels like, I guess I just feel like I am not adequately serving people because I'm new, and because I also feel like training in libraries is sort of lacking. I mean, when I got there, I was on the reference desk 2 days with another librarian as my, mentor, and then they were like, okay, you're on there by yourself. And there's also another librarian there, so it's not like I'm totally alone, but it just feels like I wasn't really prepared. And even like dealing with problem patrons, it's the same thing. I've never really been trained on how to deal with problem patrons. It's more of like, go talk to that person and tell them they can't do that, and then if they don't listen, you have to call the police on them. And it's like, is that really the best way to handle it? Maybe we should have some sort of training where we learn how to talk to them, in a respectful manner, and sort of get to know them and try to build community with them. Sort of like they talk about police officers being community advocates. We can be community advocates. I don't know. I feel like I'm going on a tangent here, but I just feel like this book and a lot of other like library positive literature and articles and media is just, it's setting unrealistic expectations that are going to not help librarians or help patrons when they come to the library. And I just wanted to talk about that because it's been something I've been thinking about a lot, even before I read this book, because again, I have times, not every day and not all the time, but I just feel like I have a lot of interactions with patrons where they expect me to be a magician, and I'm not, because I'm a regular person and I'm not, a miracle worker necessarily, although I do try my damn best to meet their need when I can. And I also am not afraid to ask for assistance from my colleagues that are, more experienced. It's just, I don't know, I just keep thinking about how I want to do my best, but maybe the rhetoric is setting unrealistic expectations for me. I don't know. I'd love to hear from people. If you're a librarian, I know I've got some retired librarians that watch me, and I know there's some other librarians here on BookTube, but if anybody's feels like me and they feel like there's unrealistic expectations about public libraries and what they can do and what public librarians can do, definitely feel free to comment down below. Or if you've read this book and you want to talk about it, or if you want to tell me your own personal story about how much you love your library, or just let's talk libraries down there, because I love libraries. So yeah, I hope everybody's having a great day and you're reading some great books, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!